Welcome. Today I'm going to talk about Fusion and how I use hubs/teams within Fusion in an educational environment, specifically a high school educational environment. Obviously, high schools have a lot of problems. You have network issues. You have whitelisting issues so that the students can receive emails from Autodesk. You have account issues. There's a whole bunch of issues. But if you've worked through those, this is a great way to actually teach Fusion so that you have a lot of control and you can see a lot of the work with the students. You need to know the student's email address. It's helpful if you have the students use their school email address. Furthermore, I can output the emails from our LMS so that I have a list so I can just do copy and paste to get them all in. So to do this, you're going to be in Fusion. You can do it on their website, but I actually find it easier to start here. So what I do is I go ahead and create a new project, and then I have a naming nomenclature, my numbers. So 100 27. So this is going to be, and we're just going to call it one. I'm not sure I have a first period next year, but 10,027. One stands for the first year of my classes. I have a 4-year pathway, so that's the first class. And 27 is the year it ends in June of 27 is when this class will be over. And then the number one is the period. And then I can put in IED, which is the name of the class. And I'm going to go ahead and create that. And then that's going to take a moment to do. I'm going to ultimately pin it so that it'll be up near the top because I'm going to use it over and over again. Some of these other ones are pinned for other reasons. Don't worry about it. And then I'm going to go into this project, and then all I'm going to do is it's going to take a little bit of time, but I'm going to make um, folders for each student. So I'm going to make Anderson. We're just going to say there's a student called Anderson. I don't have one. And then I'm going to say Jones and create a folder, and Smith. Oh, oops, close. Create a folder called Smith. And there are 3 student folders. Now that I've created this, what I am going to do is I am going to press this world button, and it's going to open this folder or this project in the Fusion web page interface. And you can see the names here for the folders. But more importantly, right now I'm working in this 27-year finishing first period IED class. And what I'm going to do is go to members and permissions. And if I click on that, you're going to notice that there's only going to be one person in there, and that's me, right? And I have administrative level permissions, which is perfectly fine. And what I am going to do is I am going to add members, and you can copy and paste these in. I do have a student named Anderson, so I'm going to start writing Anderson. And you probably can't see this, but I'm going to have to blur it out for privacy reasons. But I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And then I'm going to say add as a member. And then I can come here and check the box next to their name. And under this select, I can give them permissions. So for this master folder or master project, I'm only going to give them viewing permission. They can see the folder, they can open things within the folder or folders, but they can't edit or open any files. So I'm going to go ahead and click select. This is a little counterintuitive because this person will ultimately be able to open files within this folder just at this level. And then I'd add them, and then I'd add every student to this and give them all the same permissions. Because remember, we're working under this higher level project. So they all have access to the project now. And then what I would do is I would go to Anderson's actual folder within the project and go to permissions. Now, Anderson has permission to see this folder, view, as you can see here. But what I'm going to do is check on Anderson, and I am going to change hers to a editor role. So now she can edit, add files, subtract files, do pretty much anything she wants other than to get rid of the folder here. And now she has access to this. Now all the students will be able to see Mrs. Anderson's folder. Jones will be able to see it, but none of them can open any of the files within Mrs. Anderson's folder, because then I would have another folder here. I would go, I have to go back to the highest level. I do believe I have a student named Jones as well. So I'm going to go back to permissions. I have, it says 3 students in here, and that's because there's the admin, which is also me. So I'm going to type in Jones. I'm going to use this Jones, and I'm going to hit add member. Jones is also going to get the most basic level because remember, we're back in the 27 project. And then I can go to Jones's folder, go to add permissions, and you can see that both Anderson and Jones have a view, but in Jones's folder, if I check on them, I can then change this to editor. This is time consuming because if you have 30 students, like I often do, you got to go through this very tediously and mark each one. At the beginning of the school year, it's one of the things that absorbs a bunch of time, but it makes life extremely easy on the back end, which I'm going to show here in a minute. So now that we have these folders created, I can go ahead and switch back over to Fusion, and you can see these folders. Now, Anderson can put all of their work into this folder, and I can edit it, view it, change it, check on it, assist them with it. Same with Mr. Jones. More than once, I've had a student email me at night saying they're having trouble with something. I can get on my laptop at home, go on, look at the project, talk them through what needs to be changed via email, whatever the method is, and then they can get assistance. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some folders. So I have to keep them because I have a 4-year pathway, so I don't want my students to lose their work after the first year. So I store these files. I just put 9 at the beginning, and that allows it to put it at the bottom. But this is last year's class. Here is Anderson again. And this is all the folders that they create inside of them, which I have them do as a lesson. And then you can see here are all the Fusion lessons that she did, that we did over time. And then I can go in here and grade the cup. I can open it up. I can take a look at her cup. I can check the design history. I can do inspections to see if it's actually the right size. I can check mass. You can also open this up, and this will show you that she created it on this date at this time, and she saved it at this time. And you can see it took us a little less than 20 minutes to create this cup from scratch. And now I have full access to all of the students' work. One thing that often trips kids up at the beginning is up here at the hubs um, button. The students, when they first load Fusion, are going to be asked to create a hub. So they often, I have a whole bunch because I have access to other people's hubs, um, but they will have access to ideally 2 hubs here, yours and theirs. So one of these will be like Mr. Walker's, a colleague of mine. His hub would be it'll list his and mine, and the students have to switch to mine. I tell them that in theirs they can do whatever they want. That's the place to play, have fun, design things for home. I don't care. I'm not going to ever look at it, but all your schoolwork has to be done in the engineering hub. This also provides access to share files easily with the students. So, for example, I want to give students specific files. I have this shared hub, which all students have access to. Every single student has, I believe it's called read access. They don't have editing rights, so they can't change it, but they can open it up like you see here, and then they can make a copy of it. So if they go into the share drive, I have it broken up by the classes because I also only have to set it up once at the very beginning, and then all the students gain access, and then for the 4 years, they just go to the class they're in. So they can click here, and like for the Pinewood Derby car, I provide the wheels and axles, they design the car. They can just download these into their folder, make a copy of them, copy, or open it and save as, doesn't matter. And then they would get the wheels. And then if I change the wheel, it will update. Everybody has access to it. Um, it saves me a lot of time from downloading files and then putting them up on Schoology, which is our LMS, and for the students to then download them, upload them here, and then you have version problems. As long as everybody in the classroom is updating the computers on the same version at the same time, all of this works pretty seamlessly. I do have problems sometimes where I'm behind in the classroom and they go home and mess with it. I've learned some tricks on how to get around that as well. So that's how I use hubs as a very effective teaching method for Fusion. It also really allows me to really stress file management. So, for example, if the students are not building, like I specifically say F1, F2, Fusion lessons, Fusion challenges, the fidget spinner, the fall final, the puzzle cube, the Power Derby car, cell phone kickstand, reverse engineering clock, and the spring final, and then 99 is templates. They have to create these folders. If these folders don't exist, I don't grade it. If the file isn't in the folder it's supposed to be on, I don't grade it. File management's a huge part of life, and kids are horrible at it. I also won't grade it if they don't use the proper nomenclature for the file name. If they make ABR65, I ain't going to read it. And then that helps me check up on them and make sure they're following all of these kind of minor but very important um, lessons within Fusion. Please reach out if you have any questions. That's how it works very effectively in a school environment. And I hope this was useful. Have a good day.